The Office of Personnel Management was the target of the attack, but data from nearly every government agency was stolen. US investigators say they believe Chinese hackers were behind the breach. Global warming is defined as an increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. This trend began in the middle of the 20th century and is one of the major environmental concerns of scientists and governmental officials worldwide. The changes in temperature result mostly from the effect of increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere.
I think it's quite funny that we're always worrying about teenagers and young people becoming obsessed with online communication. But if you ask me, we need to worry just as much about adults. At the office where I work, even when we have a break, nobody talks to each other unless they absolutely have to, which is a sorry state of affairs to say the least. Everyone's too busy checking their social networks and sending messages to have time to communicate face to face. People spend their lunchtime glued to their screens or barely glance up from their phones. Even during meetings, people can't resist subtly checking their
Until just a few years ago, we could never have imagined how our behaviour would change with regards to using mobiles and tablets. I know that I would find it incredibly difficult to live without my mobile. I'm constantly looking at my phone to see if I've got any new messages or updates, and checking my apps to see what's new. I wouldn't say that I post my life online, not like some people I know, but I do like to keep up with what people are up to, friends, family, and even other people I know but maybe haven't seen for years, like old school friends, and check out photos of what they look like now.
Study at university, Alicia?
Horticulture, plants and things. I was based at a regional one, but I also spent time studying in the capital.
Seems a strange place to go if you want to grow things, the middle of a huge city.
That's what my fellow students said. I mean, I know it wasn't ideal. It's a harsh climate. Winters are bitterly cold and the summers sweltering, with little rain. But folks in the city are just determined to grow stuff, on rooftops, balconies, wherever. They'll just garden anywhere they can. It was a reminder of the strong spirit of gardeners.
Come to think of it, I do remember noticing the way some of the trees were looked after there. Instead of bare bits of ground around urban trees, they seem to take great pride in filling the earth around them with flowers.
And all that's done by the residents themselves. It's as if...
You still going to the gym, Frank?
Yes, but not as often as I should be.
That's the problem, isn't it? I've heard that the dropout rate among gym members is very high, even in those really expensive luxury health centres. Anyway, gyms aren't the answer. I'm sure the real key is to build exercise into your daily routine by doing something simple like walking to the mall or taking the stairs rather than the elevator or doing sport. And another thing, people tend to think that a 60-minute workout entitles them to laze around for the rest of the day or eat a lot and then undo all the good they might have done. But people who exercise little and often don't fall into the same trap.
That's all very well, Mary. But what about the people who don't give up on the gym and who actually feel the benefit and quite enjoy the comradeship? Each to his own, you know. If you just give it another shot, you might find it suited you too.
There's too much fuss over wetlands. They're only boggy, rather sad, wet areas visited by geeks and birdwatchers, but few others. I know nature buffs get excited over them, but aren't they mostly useless places? I read they only take up less than 1% of the Earth's surface anyway. Accepted, they're visually stunning. There's something about a watery landscape that seems to speak to something deep in the human psyche. But spending vast amounts of money to preserve them for ducks...
Wetlands are certainly good for ducks, but what about people? Sun plus water equals life, but we manage that equation very badly. When it rains, we seem bent on getting rid of the stuff, swishing it out to sea. But wetlands hold water and release it slowly. I'm not even going into their fish stocks or their role in flood control. You'd think we'd hang on to them. Instead, they're being degraded faster than other ecosystems. But put water back, birds zoom in, the land recovers virtually in front of your eyes. It's such a pity people are unaware that reversing the damage can be so straightforward. And the beauty you mentioned, that goes without saying.
So, how did your work experience placement turn out?
Well, all I can say is I'm glad it's over and it's a relief to be back at college. I worked for a friend of my dad's. One thing I've learnt is listen to advice, because I think I should have gone to a company with a recognised work experience programme. At Bloom's they were friendly enough, but didn't quite know what to do with me, how to treat me. There was nothing set up, so I generally ended up filing. I mean, it's a mindless task. I didn't mind that, but it's hardly the sort of thing to give someone an overview of what's available job-wise in an office. I suppose you mix with business tycoons and have come back with big ideas?
Well, not exactly, though there were things I did learn, and I feel I know a bit more about what to expect. I spent time in several departments. I can see myself going in for finance, eventually, but not for a while yet. There seemed so many constraints. I was amazed by the dress code, for instance. Here at college, I'm glad to be back